Don, how do you even introduce this person with his story? Please help me out.
Quinton Greene. I've known him almost my entire art journey of adulthood.
Really?
Yeah, we met at I think it was either the first Fringe Festival or the April. I think it was actually the April of that year's art walk in Smithville, where he had a booth there and I had a booth, and we were pretty close by each other. So I was looking at his stuff, he was looking at my stuff, and we just started chatting. And then I saw him he happened to have his booth right across from me at the first Fringe Festival, and we just kept talking from there. And I don't know, it's just his story is. And I heard a few things during this interview that I've never heard before, and the amount of life that he had before he started creating.
A lot of life.
A lot of life. And I am so thankful that to have met him and to hear about that story and continue to see him not only grow as an artist but prosper from not only his talents but his generosity. He's one of the great ones. One of the people that you're like I want Quinton. I want Quinton on my team.
Yeah, I want greatness for Quinton, and I want him on my team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you put that into words like that. I could hear the passion in your voice, because when you're talking about Quinton, you have to do it with passion, and I don't want to give any of his story away. You'll hear it all in this episode, but man, you guys are in for one heck of a story. So without further ado, please welcome our very good friend, the very inspirational Quinton Greene. All right, so here we are, and we have a guest that we have already talked about on this podcast a few times. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Quinton. Good to have him here. So which podcast was it we were going into town? We were really talking about Quinton.
We were talking with him, mostly with Chris Rockwell.
Chris Rockwell. So, Quinton, Chris has featured you in his magazine, right?
Yeah, that's Soup Can. Yeah. I really like what they doing, man. Sometimes when they hold events, they have people bring in canned goods.
Oh,
that's where they got the name from, and they take the canned goods and give it to homeless shelters or food banks or different things like that.
Yeah,
so
Chris was talking about North to Shore in Atlantic City the last time that we were on.
Yeah,
and the big event that they were doing down there.
They did. Yeah, it was massive. Yeah.
So what was what did this article entail? Was it your life story? I haven't read it. Like, what was it all about?
He wanted to focus on me rising from the ashes, and it was basically about when we had the house fire last year. Mm-hmm. And kind of a part of the same story, but yet adding that piece in there and how the fire affected me as an artist and as a person and my emotions and we lost 96% of what was in the house.
Oh no!
Yeah,
man.
because of the soot and smoke.
Yeah.
It went everywhere.
Oh, no. What about your room with all that art?
The art was pretty safe.
Okay.
Being in the garage, it was further away from the damage. So what happened was when one of the galleries heard that we had the fire, they called me, Perkins for the Center of the Arts, and they stored some of the art for me to hold on to it, to clean it and hold on to it.
Really?
Yeah, in January and February this year, they did a fundraiser for me.
Really?
With my art, yeah.
That's in Collingswood, right?
Yeah, in Collingswood.
What's the name of the place?
Perkins for the Center of the Arts, Collingswood.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah. And the rest of it, the insurance company, they boxed bubble wrap, cleaned them, bubble wrap each piece,
Come on,
and stored each piece in storage until we got back in the home.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got
Good people doing good things for good people. I love that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that the insurance company stepped up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you
that
about
would have been a mother.
Yeah,
For sure.
I ain't gonna add
But-
the ass.
yeah,
the
but they were cool. They didn't try to.
Nah, they
Awesome.
worked with us, so
That's great.
yeah. So we got through that. They finally got our house restored and we moved back home on June the 4th, and that was almost a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost a year being out.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm glad you're back, Don. So listen, man. I think I told you this when we were talking about Quinton, how I had him on my old show, The Pillars of Hamilton,
Yeah.
and that I was just blown away by his story.
Mhm.
So much so that, I could be doing another podcast with someone, and this could be the second time I'm hearing a story, and I'm just kind of going through the motions. But this story, the life of Quinton, is so amazing. It's uplifting. It's tragic at times, but man, it's such a powerful story that I know, like, I could interview him now. We can interview him, and it'll be just like hearing it for the first time because of what he's been through.
yeah.
I'm really excited to hear this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you kind of take us back a little bit to like where you grew up and how your journey to creativity and what that whole
Long
process
journey.
is.
Long journey.
Well, I grew up in North Carolina, in Kinston, North Carolina, in 1962. I was born there, and grew up on a little dirt road with just family involved, pretty much. My grandma, my aunts, uncles, every family across the street. So it was like isolated a little bit, and then growing up, we was more indoctrinated into music and dance, and not canvas art or anything like that. But coming up also around my teenage years, which I don't mention, that's when I started like drifting into some dark areas with alcohol.
How old were you when you started?
Probably started drinking like 16.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like severe like it was, and my younger years was full of like joy, a lot of family, and getting to the high school years, I was more involved in chorus and dancing and different things like that. But then I start kind of drinking and drifting. So the big suggestion was to go in the Army, go in the military. Because I wasn't.
Were you unsure, like, what you wanted to do?
Yeah, well, no, I kind of knew I wanted to do because I know I wasn't college material at that particular time.
Yeah, but military, that's what was calling to you?
Yeah, so I went on, I went to basic, Fort Knox, went to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama for my MOS training, ammunition and explosive specialist, 55 Bravo.
That's what MOS is?
It's military special training.
Okay.
And MOS, that's what it's called. It's just the military training.
Yeah.
Specialty that you go into.
Was this by your own decision? You decided you wanted
a lot of times when you take the test, they make a decision where they think you fit best.
Were you happy with that decision?
Yeah, I mean, studying ammo and understanding how it works, and it was an interesting time, but being sauced up didn't help. Because being in the military now you are free to do some other things that you really wasn't too much exposed. We had limitations too.
Yeah.
So it don't matter if you 16, 17, 18, you a grown person, grown man, grown woman, you know, and you liberty and free to do some things. But it didn't get really exacerbated until I went to Germany. And I was over in Germany, and it's just like a free fall. And it kind of, it didn't get bad until I witnessed one of my friends. We was working at the motor pool, and when you're working on the deuce and a half, you're supposed to put a tire guard on the tire to when you're blowing it up.
Deuce and a half. What's that? Is that the boat?
That's a big truck.
Okay.
Big truck.
Yeah.
Big huge truck that they carry goods and ammo and different things on. Well, you're supposed to put a tire guard because them tires are huge. They are big.
Yeah.
And what happened is I heard something say boom like that, and I turned around to go over where it was at, where the rim popped off and hit him right here. And it took,
right on. You're pointing to your forehead.
Yeah,
like his forehead.
Yeah, and it took all of that kind of off there.
Right in front of you, just saw your friend.
Yeah, and it was just right downhill from there. And I didn't even realize how much that affected me. You know, I'm self-medicating.
Yeah.
To kind of escape from that experience that I saw that I couldn't get out of my head.
Yeah.
And
and
not only me, but it kind of affected everybody there that saw it.
Yeah.
And
did they provide you any kind of like therapy?
No, just
like
go
that.
to work. You know, it is what it is.
Boots on
Keep
and
moving.
go. And now, this was a friend of yours.
Yeah, and it just kind of spiraled down. And finally, it got so bad, my mentality, my psychology was so bad that they had to, and self-medicating, self-medicating, and
a little bit of
they
this,
just
a little bit of that.
they let me go with a medical discharge.
Okay.
When I came,
because they could see how you were behaving?
Yeah. And so when they released me with, you know, like nothing. Like, okay, go.
Good luck.
Good luck. Go home. I came back from Germany to where was I at? Fort Riley, Kansas.
How long had you been in the military?
At that time, probably about 3 years.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Long.
Yeah. So I came home from Fort Riley, Kansas, back home to nothing. So now it's nothing, no job. Things just started spiraling out of control, getting darker and darker, getting in trouble, just obliterating my life.
Just didn't have anything to work towards.
Yeah, and just wanted to die, and at times, and tried to commit suicide by overdosing.
Really?
Yeah, and different things like that, and just didn't want to live anymore.
At this point, was the death of your friend still like?
Oh my God, nightmares. I still have nightmares.
Yeah.
And they say, people say, that kind of stuff leave you. No, you don't.
Those people probably have never experienced that kind of thing.
Yeah, they say that. They haven't. You see somebody, head,
that's your
half
friend
of their
in
head
head.
come off. They think
and you're
about
young. You're so
right,
young.
18, 19 years old. 19 years old. Never, you didn't.
No, you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're a kid. That's a hell of a thing for a kid to see.
Yeah.
And they're just starting out their life.
Yeah, so from 84 when I left to 1994, it just was dark, self-medicating, wanting to die. wanted to get rid of the pain, and I think around 91 I moved from North Carolina up here. Yeah, it was 1991 to New Jersey, and I moved up here because my mom was running a restaurant at Freeway Golf Course in Sicklerville, and it's since closed now.
Did she realize at the time what you were going through?
Yeah, she knew. And but she tried to be a mom and tried to support and tried to do what she thought was right at the time for her to do.
It's hard to know what to do when someone's going through that, especially your kid who you love and you just want to be okay, but sometimes you don't know the right kind of help to give someone.
I mean, if you just pray through things, you'll be all right.
Man,
I
got some people like that in my family too. Man, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna help.
Pray
right
all right. With the next bottle.
Yeah. So how much were you drinking at that point?
I could drink 2 gallons of wine or something.
Golly, were you waking up and drinking?
Yeah, it was bad. And if I couldn't get something to drink, I'm like this, shaking.
Yeah. Well, did you have money? Did you have to steal? Like, how did?
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to go that route. Mm-hmm. I was able to work at the golf course, maintain a little bit of money in my pocket.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have to go that far in yet. Mm-hmm. So around, I think it was 1998, I had a psychological crisis. I was put in a program, and it wasn't long. It was like 2 weeks. And then it went on. I had another psychological crisis.
Can I ask you what you mean? Like, do you mind if I ask you?
Just doing crazy stuff.
And so it was based off.
I was out of my mind.
Did somebody?
They called the police. The police came. They got me. Mm-hmm. They say this guy's a nut. Let's take him to the crisis center.
When you went,
drop them off.
Were you agreeable? Like, yeah, I need help, or at this point?
No. And you get right there, and they shoot you up with some Ativan.
That calm you
They
down?
don't even ask you. They just did it back then.
Whoa.
Yeah, to calm you down. All right. Yeah.
Wow.
The third trip. I went to Lakeland Hospital, and I was in that the MICA, a mentally ill chemical abuser unit, and I did this was October. It was like April of 2024.
Oh, so this is like well after you had already done the golf course stuff.
Yeah.
Way past that.
Yeah, it was. I was still. My mom still had the place, but I was so sick, mentally and physically, because I had diabetes and didn't even know it, and I was so sick mentally, I couldn't work. I couldn't do nothing for nobody. I couldn't. So I went into Lakeland. I think it was March or April of 2004. And that was was it March, April, May, June?
Man, I can't believe you remember
September, October. Yeah, it was an 8-month stay. Mm-hmm. And in that 8 months, I learned so much about myself with the groups the group therapy and my spirituality and drawing back on the stuff that I was taught when I was coming up as a kid and family, and looking towards a higher power and grasping that thought.
Was it because there was a specific teacher that you really looked up to, or was it the people who were there, or just the meeting? Like, what was it?
It was just like they would have various groups, different types of therapy, and I think it was just connecting with people there and the workers.
Yeah.
And the therapists and the psychologists, and
they were good.
Huh? Yeah. And so just that 8-month stay awoke me. It allowed me to get enough hope in me to kind of when I didn't want people, places, and things no more. So when I got out in that, I think it was October or November, I was released back home. I dove into spirituality. I dove into working in the church and doing things in the church. I dove into giving back to the community by doing, volunteering.
Yeah.
I dove into all of these things that I thought that would actually help me, and it did help me stay away from people, places, and things. And and then a year after that, being clean, it just started manifesting itself, and I really was like coming back up again. I was building my reputation back in the community. My mom, she was always, there.
Oh, she must have been so happy to see you back.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, she must have been so happy.
My sisters and all of them, they was
that's
like,
a long time from point A to point B, from your first downward spiral to eventually these meetings. What was that, like almost 20 years?
It's like 10.
It was 10 years.
Yeah, it was 10 years of just...
Okay. My math is off.
10 years. 84 to 94.
Yeah, a decade's a long...
Yeah, it's a long time. Your body's beat up. You're tired. Your mind is beat up.
Yeah.
But somehow, like she said, pray about it. And I did. I really focused on my prayer life and looking to my higher power. And things began to turn around. So 94, 95, the end of 94, 95, 96, I just worked on me, trying to make myself a better person in my community and trying to do the right thing as I saw fit to do. And
that's one of the biggest reasons.
Then your friends start changing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, your friends start changing because I'm not going there no more, So, you don't want, nah.
Yeah.
So you
start meeting up with the right people who are doing the good,
sober
the right
friends,
Yeah. Not constantly looking for the next drug.
And whatever.
Looking to help people and do good things with their day.
And moving through that, I guess around the end of or sometime in 96, I met my wife, and we began to date. And I met her at church.
I was just going to ask you, where'd you meet her?
Yeah, church. And we began to date and grow and closer to each other, and then we finally got married in 97, July 97. So we just celebrated 27 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are a wonderful couple, man.
Yeah.
I can feel, you go into certain people's houses and there's an energy there. It's very strong, positive energy coming out of Quinton's house.
Yeah. And but when we first got together, though, she ran.
What? She ran away from you?
Yeah, because
What'd you do?
She was at another church, And she said she felt the Spirit move for her to come to the church that I was attending, what we're attending now. And in all of that, when I first started dating with you, the Lord said, this is going to be your wife. And I told her that, and she was like, oh, no. Yeah, so she kind of like backed off. And then she, we continued to talk, and then she finally came around to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
I had to woo.
Did she know? Did you tell her about
Yeah,
your
she
history
knew everything.
and-
Yeah, she knew everything. She knew everything.
You know, as bad as those things are that you've been through, sometimes I find that the people I love most in life are the people who've been through some really tough times like you went through and make it out and end up being this great person who's a little bit wiser because of what they've been through.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
They've been through enough experiences to be able to give advice and just,
and that's strange for people come to you now for advice. And you like, okay, let me think about this before I open my mouth because I don't want to mislead anybody. You know what I mean?
When they're coming to you want to get it right.
Yeah. So after we got married in '97, I decided that I needed to go back to school. Well, not go back, but go get into college, get a degree. And so I started at Camden County College. And
How old were you at that point?
34.
34, back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
So I went on there and I ended up graduated with a double associate in social services and drug and alcohol counseling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a double associates. So I was gonna go on to work on a bachelor's in psychology, but then the Lord called me into ministry.
What do you mean?
I went to seminary school instead. I went.
When you say
theology.
When you say the Lord.
Yeah, the Spirit, the Lord. Yeah, my higher power.
That you mean you were getting pulled towards?
Getting pulled towards. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so we went on. Me and my wife went on school together because she's already had a bachelor's in social work, and we went on to school together, and we worked through Southern Baptist Seminary Extension, which was taught through my church, and then we finished out that, and then we went on for our master's degree in theological studies at the North Carolina College of Theology Extension course. So we took that on computer and classes at our church.
Wow.
And so we graduated, I think, in 2000. It was some breaks in between. I think we graduated together in 2010 with our master's degrees in theological study.
Don, you know why I love this so much, man? Because we're obviously bringing Quinton on today because of his his skill set in the arts, the art he's created. But here he is in a story. He's already well into his 30s, and he hasn't even begun to talk about where the art starts. And this is such a motivating thing, right? For someone who hasn't found themselves, for someone who is lost, to let them know that, like, hey, this guy did it not young in life. He started, we haven't even gotten there yet.
And that's why I like telling my story. Don't feel like it's over because you're a little older than what you think you are. You know, I want people to know that just because you're in your 30s or 40s, you can still go back to school. I'm not going to let somebody in their 70s go back to college and get their doctor's degree. And I'm 30, 40 years old, and I'm just thinking about it. So I just went on. But in the meantime, while we was doing all of that, around 1999, I talked to one of my friends came to me and we was talking. I was like, wow, I'm working part-time. I'm in school. This is stressful. He was like, well, I painted when I was in, he said I painted when I was in the Army. And he did a lot of commission work because he did officers and first sergeants.
Oh, he's doing like portraits?
Yeah. That kept him out of a lot of duty.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but he said, well, just pick up the brush and maybe that'll help you out. You know, you teach yourself how to paint or whatever, take some classes or whatever. Like, I don't have time for classes. I'm in school doing that. But I'll dabble a little bit. And so 1999, I picked up the brush, started dabbling, doing a little bit of this. I did some self-studies on Van Gogh and other artists, Picasso and different artists, and try to emulate their style. And but at the same time, try to say, well, I don't want to exactly look like them. I want to look like me. So when you look at my art, you see all of that.
Real quick, I don't know if this will make it into the episode. Just we'll take a pause real quick because I'd love for you to meet. I was showing pictures. Quinton, this is Barry, a very good friend of mine.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I'm Barry.
Don,
Nice
my co-host, and you guys know Jaden.
Yeah. My
He's the
man.
boy.
That's the man right there.
Yeah.
He's rocked some of his artwork in his room.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
gave it to him. It was really nice. Yeah. So I just wanted you guys to meet. What do you think of the?
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's real cool.
Thank you, man.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I've heard all about you because he's told me about you. And
Yeah,
I think,
thank you, sir.
I think to change around your life, it doesn't matter what age it is, to change around your life and to be positive is so important in life. And
Yes.
you getting your story around can change a lot of people's lives, and that's what it's all about. Really.
Yes, sir.
You know, if they've got the intelligence to realise that somebody else can do it, then surely I can do it.
Yes.
You know, and you have to be positive.
Yeah.
Positivity is the most important thing in your life, is to be positive. You know?
Yeah.
He's going through it too. He was sad. He's dating my mom, and they're happy all over again.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were friends, and we both lost our partners the same year. But I've known his mother for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I had a home in Florida as well.
Yeah.
And
You back up here, or you?
No, we're not here now. And I'm from England, as you
Yeah,
know,
I
probably.
can hear that.
Here,
Yeah.
you know, this posh
Yeah.
accent.
That's
I'm not-
right, mate.
I'm not posh, mate. I'm just an ordinary working class lad.
I got
you.
you.
know, but I've done a lot of things in my life as well, and you've got to go forward. You can do anything you want to do if you can put your head to it and do it. But a lot of people, they find playing games on the boxes and things like that their life these days.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. You're right.
You know.
Yeah, it's more than life.
Carry on. I'm sorry to.
No, I'm glad you came to meet him.
Yeah, nice. Well, you told me a lot about him, and I wanted to meet him.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So Quentin, how long did it take you, would you say, to start developing what you would?
Well, about 4 to 5 years.
Took a while.
Yeah, I kept working at it. Leon would check on me to see my progress, what I was doing, and he was like impressed. And then about 2005, he came and he said, "You don't really know how far you came with your work. It's just amazing, and you sitting here teaching yourself how to do this."
That is the crazy part, right?
Yeah.
You're just doing this off of stuff you see on the internet. You don't have a teacher there.
Nah, it's just studying and looking at people work and try to emulate it, but yet keep your same own thoughts in it.
Now, when I met you, like, I remember a lot of your stuff being these assemblage pieces. Where,
Yeah.
You know, where you were
applying things to canvases and stuff. Did you start there, or did you start with painting?
I started painting on cardboard, and whatever kind of paper I could find.
Anything you could find.
And then when I started making a little bit of money, I moved to canvas. But what Leon did was, I was kind of skeptical, but he took 2 of the pieces that I had did on cardboard. He said, I bring them back. He went and framed them and put glass on it and framed them and brought them back to me. He said, see what I was telling you? I was like, who work is that? That's not my work looking like that. He said, I told you. So at that point, he told me to start reaching out to groups, start reaching out to galleries and start just trying to get my work out there. So the first 5 galleries I sent, emailed a little bit of my work, of what I was doing, and my little bio, which was more about me being in the Army than it had anything with me being an artist.
You were new.
Yeah.
You were new.
Yeah.
And the Mr. Hunter, African American Heritage Museum, he contacted me back and said, get down here, I need to talk to you. In Newtonville, the Martin Luther King Center there.
Okay.
And so I met up with him. Also, the Annex 24 Art Gallery in Lancaster, which was a collective. Shame that gallery closed now, but it was a collective gallery full of just amazing artists, and they accepted my work. And I was like
Was this the cardboard? Like they accepted?
No, I was on canvas.
Oh,
then.
you were on canvas at this point. Okay.
Yeah. So I finally got down there to meet Mr. Hunter. He was like, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to, I want you to do a show with you. And we need about 40 to 50 pieces. I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. You know how he is. He just rambunctious.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, you got to give me some time. And he understood, And so I think around 2006 or 2007, I finally had enough art to do my first showing at the African American Heritage Museum. My first public showing.
Were you able to put your heart and soul into all? I mean, it sounds like a lot of pieces. Were you still able to put a lot of heart into every single one?
Yeah, I was like, and people was like, "Oh, you so prolific. How you do it?" I said, "I don't know." Yeah.
I mean, when I went into your garage, have you been to his garage?
I have not.
Bro, Jaden's been in his garage. I am talking about layers upon layers of artwork, and it's good stuff. It's like his assemblage, right?
Right.
So you see assemblage over here, paintings over there, something else over here, and it is just filled. I would say hundreds, right?
Right. I got probably in my art room about 350 to 380 pieces that I've done.
He just works. Works.
And some of that is out. Because I got a exhibit at the Tuckerton Seaport at the Union Market.
Union Market,
yeah. And they got 40 pieces in there. But that show ends July the 20th, which is next week. But anyway, he did a public showing for me. The first show that I showcased took off. I sold a couple of pieces, and one piece was for $700. The first piece I ever sold. I couldn't.
Was it marked? Was it priced? Or did?
Yeah, do you know they put the descriptions on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was priced.
$700.
Yeah, the woman walked in there and she looked at it and she was just like stunned, and I didn't see what she saw, but I don't see my art through your eyes. I
Sure.
don't see my art through your eyes. I just see
What
my
do you
art.
think? What do you think when you look here? Or do you critique it? Do you
No, I don't. I just put it away and keep going.
On to the next. Wow, man.
Now, if I look at it again and I see something I quite don't like, then I kind of change it. But outside of that, once I'm finished with it, I'll shellac it and then I just put it aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
The assemblage didn't start. That started by accident. And that was like 2008, 2009, where I was doing some work and I had some art on the ground, on the floor, and something accidentally fell on the art, and I just ignored it and I kept working and doing something. I came back, it had dried, but when I picked it up, like, oh, that looks nice. That looks really, really nice. And so I thought to myself, if I did that by accident, how much more could I do on purpose?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I started doing
wow.
assemblage work about 2008, 2009.
Okay.
And it just exploded. So I just
Yeah.
do a little assemblage work, do paintings. And when I get tired of painting, I start assembling again. So I never get bored.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are your two mediums that you go back and forth.
Yeah.
with, those
And
assemblies.
now my sister and my wife and other people will hand me stuff.
to put on their your art.
Yeah. So I got a little pile and I let it pile up. And then I say, okay, I'm sick of painting now. Let me start working. No plan, no nothing. I just start putting this stuff together
See what
and,
happens.
and see what happens.
Do you ever finish something and you're like, oh, that's
Oh
in the
yeah, I rip
trash.
it apart.
Yeah. Hey, this question is actually for you and for Don. I know that a lot of artists try to express something through their arts, or maybe even send a message. I don't know. When you guys are creating, do you ever have that goal of like, I want to put a piece out to change someone's mind about something, or are you strictly just trying to create something that looks awesome for someone or for yourself? What is the mission, if you ever have one?
I don't know
That's
about for you.
difficult.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I try and say something
From the
like
heart.
something emotional in my pieces, and a lot of the times people don't see the same things that I like. Most of my stuff comes from isolation, loneliness. Most of my pieces only have one figure in it, or
Yeah.
someone not connecting with an audience, and people are like, oh, look at the happy little robot, or something like that. And it's like, but it's cool because people can interpret the art any way that they want to. It doesn't,
You don't correct them?
no, once you put it out into the world, it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, sure isn't. So I'm kind of the
Just
same
is.
way. It's more therapy for me now than anything in this world. I just the isolation and then coming forth out of that isolation for a period of time, and then started. It's so refreshing, especially when my wife she know that I'm in here and I'm working. And if she got something to say, I don't care if she come back and say something to me. She need to say it. And but they come out of it, I feel so refreshed in my mind because all of that thought that I had, all of that negativity that I had, all of them bad feelings that I had are now placed up here. And people was like, Mr. Hunter said, why come you don't use greens and browns and grays and dark colors? I said, because that's not where my life is anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when I got my paintings out, just like when we was at Perkins, they'll go upstairs, like, whoa, look at all of this color, and they say it, wow, how you get all of this color on this palette? And I'm like, I don't know. I just do it. There's no specific
Well, I find it
reason.
interesting.
Yeah,
I find it interesting. Like, we talked at the beginning about music being playing such a role in your youth, and like how some of your pieces like address that musical connection and family and connecting to a community. So it's really interesting to see.
And I don't even think about it.
Yeah,
it's just because a lot of I don't look at nothing to paint, and I really don't. I just like whatever happens. Let's go for it.
Do you have a picture in your mind of what you want it to look like, or you're
yeah, just vaguely
okay
in my mind.
Yeah.
But that's it. Because it might come out to look like what's in my mind, and it might not.
Yeah.
But it is what it is,
Yeah.
But you're right. I don't even realize how much that musical background. My grandfather, he had a orchestra in 40s and 50s. He was up there with Cab Calloway, but he was in North Carolina.
Are there any
he had a traveling band.
Any recordings of his stuff?
My aunt has some. A lot of his music was written.
Yeah.
I think they have a museum section in a museum down there that's dedicated to him.
Oh, wow.
So they probably got some music. I think I heard a little bit of his music when I was younger. But he wrote tons of music, songs. He's just write them out, like Ray Charles. Just write stuff out like that. I think my aunt maybe has a lot of that sheet music that he wrote out. My aunt played the saxophone. My uncle played the drums, the organ. My dad, he sang, and he played percussions. It's just a lot of music and dance. I won dance contests when I was coming up.
What kind of dance did you do?
Well, whatever the dance was at the time, But it's your interpretation of that dance that matters.
Sure.
Because it could be the rock or whatever, but you might add a little bit or whatever. But it was just absolutely fun. And and people now look at me and say, well, do you wish it went another way, them 10 years? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Because all of that dark period is brought me to where I am now.
Yeah, for sure.
Without it, where would I be without it? And so, yeah.
Do you ever think about the other people out there who could benefit from this? For example, like I know some friends of mine who are wrestlers. They're doing like a wrestling and recovery type benefit show. Like, have you ever thought about having your own class or, I don't know, event for people who
right now I'm working with Art and Healing.
What
the
is
Art and Healing Foundation.
What is Art and Healing?
Well, right now they're working on a documentary. Did you talk to them?
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet.
Yeah, Matt and Pat, Matt Damon. They creating this foundation, Art and Healing, and so right now they're working on a documentary where they're gonna have a probably like 20 to 25 artists sit down and talk about their life and how they use art as a tool to help them heal from emotional, psychological, and even physical issues. And so they did
Tell me they're putting you in the documentary.
I'm already in.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they filmed me already. And so what they're going to do is they're going to collage it together in one big film, and they're going to send it out to various film festivals.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only that, they want to take their foundation and use it, what you just talking about. Using it as
to start helping people.
You just help through art. Healing, vets, all of it. And not only that, it might be somebody out there that might be borderline about coming into the arts, who might just undecisive, you know. I would love to paint. I don't have no. We want to motivate them.
Yeah.
To
People don't know how to get
involved,
started.
to get involved, to get started, to kind of show them the pathway and help them do that. They made me a board member.
That's awesome, man. That's what I'm talking
I'm like
about.
a board member.
Man.
But Matt and Pat, they said they wouldn't have it any other way, because they felt like I contributed a lot to them, introducing them to a lot of the artists that I know to get this film off the ground. And so he said, you committed and putting a lot of work in this. There's no way we're going to leave you out of this.
I mean, Don, am I right? Like the poster for someone who's a recovered whatever, who's come into the arts. I mean, can you think of a better story than Quinton's?
Well, I think definitely Quinton's story is his own personal story, but there's a lot of touch points there that people can relate to. I think getting somebody to just make that first mark that's the huge hurdle, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about what comes out. Just do it,
Yeah.
And
what if I just told Leon, I ain't
I don't feel like it.
I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And then you see how much I would have missed out of my life. I love it now.
That first
I got
stroke.
beautiful friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm connected with some of the greatest galleries in South Jersey. Greatest group, greatest people. You
make people happy too.
and it's just wonderful. Forget the tears.
It's friggin' awesome. I mean, what do you think? I don't know if you could go back, but what do you think 26-year-old Quinton would think of you today? Do you think
I think he would be proud.
you think he'd be proud?
Yeah, pretty happy about where the 61-year-old Quinton is at now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the last, what has it been, 6 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
It has not been a long time that all these things are starting to happen for you.
I know. Yeah. It's been the last 5, 6 years.
You're
now.
really good at self-promotion, too.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you say so?
I beat it up. I know they get sick and tired of me.
No, keep pushing them. Keep pushing, man. But you know how many people, I'm sure you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of artists out there who never get discovered. No one ever says it because they're too shy about their work or too shy in general.
Yeah, it's a census that about 30% of the artists get known. 70, probably less than that.
Yeah, I would think it's less.
Yeah. And you got to promote yourself. And what happened was when I promoted myself, when Leon said go out there and start doing it, and when I started connecting, I found something inside of my head that said, yeah, he's right. You got to push yourself. And so from that point on, I made it a habit to just start emailing people artwork.
Yes.
Sending them my bio. Galleries up in New York. I don't care who you think you a big shot gallery would check this out.
Was it just throw the seeds out, see which one grows?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I tell younger artists, please do that. Don't be afraid
of rejection.
Don't be afraid of rejection because somebody is going to look at your art and say, get blown away by it.
Yes.
So do not be afraid of rejection. Go online, look up these emails, send your bio, send your work to every gallery you can imagine that you can send it to. And see what happens.
If you get one, that's one more than you had before.
Absolutely. And it's people like Don, it's people like Mr. Hunter, it's people like Chris, all these people, you, Sam.
Yeah, maybe a lesser.
Sir.
Barry, of course.
1 minute in my life, but it seemed like I know him all my life.
He's a good man.
Yeah, I've been to London for 1 week.
Well, I'm very impressed. I'm going out to buy my paintbrush tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Barry, you're going to start painting? We can collaborate.
Cheerio.
That's what I keep saying to him. That's my favorite one, Cheerio.
I think he wants me to go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
What's the opposite of Cheerio?
Yeah.
Fruit Loop. Fruit Loop.
But yeah, I really think each one of you put a little piece in me of encouragement to keep pushing.
Well,
And
it's a mutual thing. I mean, like, for example, when we were talking to Chris and we started talking about you could just feel a good positivity in the room.
Chris is cool. They busy
Chris is a cool
too.
guy.
Sure.
Yeah, they are busy. I don't know how they do it.
He seems like he's all over the place.
Yeah. They are really busy up there. But
He's got a lot of energy, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, like it's like we're gonna talk about Quinton during Chris's, and we'll talk about Chris's. Yeah, but like Quinton's so about community and taking care of each other and supporting each other. Whatever your situation is, and I mean, Soup Can's gone international with the amount of artists and poets that they attract. And I'm so thankful for like all of the connections I've made in the art world, because like I don't know, we've probably talked about this, and I don't want to usurp your interview by talking about me at all.
No,
but,
go ahead.
Always about Don. Always about Mr. Swenson.
No,
I
but
don't
it's
think
like
so.
but it's like, I got into the art I drew and I painted a lot when I was in high school and college and stuff, and then I went into theater for 20 years, and then like 2015 found myself laid off from my job in theater, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll start painting again. And then like through just that moment in my life, I've met all these wonderful people. Like, it's so weird to find your people after so many years, and no matter where I go, somebody knows somebody else in this community.
Absolutely.
And the stories that we can tell about each other is just, it warms the heart.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And by me, of course, y'all know I'm a curator for Studio 67.
Yes, sir.
And when Mr. Lucas saw my work online, so he invited me over. He commissioned me to do some work for him. He wanted me to paint on the
just have your art up on his walls?
No, paint the wall with a mural.
Okay,
I don't do that. I told him I'll paint on the giant canvases, and I'll
put it up.
You can put it up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, okay, whatever. Go do it.
Nice. Just threw you the money for it. That's what's up.
And so
that's some faith right there.
We talked, and I was like, well, maybe I can help you build your artist portfolio, since Studio 67 been open for 2.5 years now. And so he was like, yeah, well, now you're my curator. Not only you doing this, but you're my curator now. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I talked to him. I said, well, if I'm going to be the curator, then we can get some established artists. But my main function would be finding artists, new artists, who never showcase in a gallery setting. So my point is, somebody gave me an opportunity. Now it's time for me as a curator to reach back and pull some younger artists on with me as I go. And so that's what I do. I find just fresh out of college, or never been in or not even out of college, just working at home and never showcase their work in a gallery setting. I open up the doors for them to come in, and they are so excited.
Oh,
you know, young people,
It's good energy to be
yeah,
around, too.
and now you got something on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That
showcased
first step.
here. I showcased here, you know, and it's been really good for them, and so I'm happy for that, and I'm gonna keep it going, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
and we do showcase seasoned artists now.
Mhm.
We do showcase seasoned artists. I'm trying to get him over there.
I wrote to Jeff. I sent him my stuff.
Okay. All right.
So, man, I can't believe we're already reaching an hour. Gotta know, what does the future look like for Mr. Quinton? What are you looking forward to do? What are your goals? Anything you want to put out there for the listeners to look out for?
Well, it's just continue to work in the community, continue to help younger artists, continue to work with art and healing, and help them get that really off the ground, and continue to work over there in Medford with Studio 67. And any little thing that I can do, futuristically speaking, maybe one day have something. He was talking about something, and I would like to get involved in that if that's possible. Maybe something in Cyclaville, something small.
What's he talking about? Getting involved in?
There's so many things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I find that problem with Don too. We talk about
Yeah,
500
yeah.
different things.
Sorry. Was it I know we probably talked about like an art and wellness day.
Yeah, and some other stuff.
Like I think like getting more involved with more art therapy and reaching getting a larger community involved with the arts.
Yeah. Not
Because
just
sometimes groups can be isolated.
Yeah.
They don't mean to, but
that's so true, man.
it gets so isolated and so focused on the group that you in the circle,
right?
But what's going on outside the circle?
Yeah.
Why you're not pulling people on the outside of the circle into the group? Yeah, and so
that's a good point.
He was talking about therapy and different things that he wanted to do, and
you stick with Don, you'll do 15,000 different projects.
I don't care.
I just gotta slow the brain down for like a week. Just
for 1 week. That's like 5,000 ideas right there.
But yeah, this is definitely been a pleasure talking to you. And it's always a pleasure. I'm so glad we've gotten to see each other.
Full handshake going on right now.
A couple of times this year already. So that's been. Hopefully we
three's a charm.
I know. Next time,
And I ain't seen Sam in a minute.
I missed you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about the house
Love
fires.
you, man.
I love you too, dude. Yeah. Barry, he's given my kids art that they put on their walls, and he's donated to Casey's diabetes. He has diabetes too. Yeah, he's wearing the necklace.
When is the fundraiser?
We usually do it around like April or something.
Okay,
like that.
next year.
So I'll let you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll give.
You should come.
I'm gonna come.
Come do this.
Every time I was like,
I know something was going on.
Yeah. So I'll come.
Did I mute myself? Oh man, I just made everyone's day. No, but I'm back.
Oh,
all right. Well,
we missed you.
No one's ever said that to me before.
Oh well.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Well, Quinton, man, we love you, dude, and I don't know. I've only seen you a handful of times in my life, but I still feel strong enough to say, proud of you, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Proud of you too.
Proud
of you, Don.
Proud of you, Quinn.
Barry, we're all proud of you.
We all proud of Barry.
And I'm all proud of you after listening to him.
Yeah.
You're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Your life story is incredible.
It's amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Incredible.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, man. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
Peace out.